Hello and welcome to Third Act Film. Today with me is Todd James.
Hello.
Hello, Todd. And I'm James Forbes.
Hello, James.
Today's discussion is about Guardians of the Galaxy. So James Gunn recently put on his Facebook page that he's finished the script for Guardians of the Galaxy 2.
Good.
We are rejoicing.
A headline that reads, "Man gets work. Man
work.
does job."
Man gets paid to do job that he's paid to do.
Perfect.
Well done, James Gunn. And it got us thinking, like, what are they gonna do? And
he's previously said that there's going to be new Guardians or new
yes,
sort of people joining the lineup.
there may be one or two new Guardians, which would be pretty sick.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so we thought we'd do a little research, little rundown of who we think should be in it. So you want to go with your first suggestion?
Sure. So my first idea is a character called Angela, and I don't know if she has strictly speaking been a Guardian, but she's sort of been involved with them because she's a cosmic character, and it's more recently it's been established that she is Odin's daughter. So so she's like
no.
Asgardian or half Asgardian or whatever it is. So she kind of has all the abilities that Thor has, all the usual super strong, super fast, stamina, agility. She can also
Yeah.
fly,
Well, that
and
helps.
she's like just generally good at beating people up. And she's a lady, if you couldn't tell from the use of the
Lady.
word she.
Oh, right, yeah.
I thought you might need help with that one. So yeah, it would, add some much needed diversity, as everyone always seems to complain about.
Yeah, even though they've got a raccoon, a tree, a woman.
Two green people.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but more diversity.
Yes,
even
we need
more
more.
than that.
Less trees,
Yeah,
more women.
yeah,
Right.
definitely. There's too much representation of trees on TV.
Groot might be female. We don't know.
I don't think he has,
You just said he.
but just like the royal he. No. I
Right.
don't think Groot has a gender.
Right. This
We're
is
just assuming because of Vin Diesel's
yeah.
magnetic voice.
Right. So, Angela, what do you think?
Uh,
Too powerful?
Possibly, but then
Right.
I'm looking at my list, and I can't use that argument.
Okay.
Pretty much. Whoever's going to be added on has to add something to their team, and what
Sure.
they're missing is a kind of Hulk slash. Well, they're not even missing a Hulk kind of character. They're missing a Thor
Yeah.
kind of character.
Because I mean, you've got Drax and Groot,
yeah,
and they're both really powerful.
yeah,
But that's just kind of against normal. I mean, there's even a line in Guardians where Drax is talking about whatever the people that they're about to fight is. I forget what they're called, and he says, "I like to think of them as paper men." So they're obviously not the strongest enemies to go up against.
yeah, yeah. So someone who can help, especially when we're getting into the Infinity War, if Guardians are going to appear,
Yeah.
can we get someone else new who can
Yeah.
kind of help?
So she'll have
Yeah.
Angela flying around, probably with a big old sword, just
Yeah.
chopping up people.
Yeah, it'd be interesting her meeting with Thor and they're like, what
Yeah.
if they had a little flirt going on?
A little moment of eye contact, like,
Yeah.
yeah,
And then they're like, oh yeah,
we're
brother and
related.
sister. Yeah.
Yeah. Right, your first idea.
Vance Astro,
Vance Astro. Expand.
Major Victory.
Major victory. Major victory.
That is his name, not as in I've won this argument, but his name is Major Victory.
So on his birth certificate, it's first name Major, last name Victory. Right.
Well, I believe it's his nickname more so, and his actual name's Vance Astro.
Okay.
But he has a kind of a complicated storyline
Mhm.
in the sense that there's another person called Vance Astric who he is the future version of, or a descendant, or something like that.
Right.
It's very confusing.
Sure.
I'll dumb it down. He is,
I generally need that.
yeah. He is some blue guy
Some blue guy. I'm with
from
you.
the future
Okay.
with Captain America's shield.
The exact same one that Captain America has.
The exact
Yes.
same one. And it's the idea that in the future, Captain America, passes away, passes down his shield,
Mhm.
and it gets passed down generation, and that Major Victory is seen as such a hero that he's been bequeathed
Bequeathed.
bequeathed
Right.
Captain America's shield, and
What? So like this point in the future, it's like a medal given to the galaxy's greatest warrior sort of
Yeah,
thing.
something like that.
All
Yeah.
right.
So then he's now got Captain America's shield, and then kind of the reverse of Captain America when Captain America was frozen in ice
Mm.
and went forward in time. This guy's kind of accidentally falls back in time somehow.
Just accidentally.
Like, oops.
He trips up. And he's,
I'm not a smart man.
when
I don't know how I got here. I was looking for the bathroom.
right.
Yeah. So I think he will be a pretty cool addition. I believe in the comic books, he's one of the original Guardians of the Galaxy as well.
He is, yeah.
He looks pretty badass, and I
Yeah.
can imagine like a more modern outfit would look amazing.
Well, especially the way they did Vision in Age of Ultron, you can see that it
Yeah.
can sort of be done practically with
Yeah, with
makeup and
the
stuff.
old comic book style.
Yeah.
Still keeping true to that, yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was my suggestion. Yours?
Okay. My second one is Nova, not Richard Rider Nova.
What?
Whoa! Mind blown. Samuel Alexander Nova. And so Samuel Alexander, he is the son of a human man, who was in the Nova Corps, and he's like this teenage kid who he never really knew his dad, and he one day finds his dad's helmet, and he puts it on, and suddenly he's like, oh my god, actually maybe he did know his dad. Anyway, he puts it on,
Yeah.
and he's like, oh my god, I'm Nova now. But he's also, and so he, in the way, sort of similar to Spider-Man, has to balance, I'm a teenage kid with all my angsty problems. Also, I'm Nova. And
Pretty cool.
I think it would be a good way to link the worlds of Earth in the Marvel Cinematic Universe and Guardians. It would just be a kind of like a link between them.
Having
I mean,
another
I'd
human on the team.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I wouldn't. I don't know if I'd want him to be as major, as big a player as Star-Lord, etc.,
Yeah.
etc. But for him to have some sort of role in that, I think would be a nice little. And we've had the Nova Corps in
We have, yeah.
Guardians.
They were quite funny, actually.
They were. I quite liked them, especially John C. Reilly.
Yeah. Well, I like him in anything he
Yeah.
does, so. Yeah. I think that's a pretty good idea. It's quite
Yeah.
interesting.
Thank you.
I know we did another video recently about Matthew McConaughey playing
Yeah.
the Reed Richards version.
Do you mean the Richard Rider?
What did I say? Reed Richards.
Reed
Oh,
Richards,
Wrong,
yeah.
wrong industry there.
Wrong.
Sorry. Wrong. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
Well, I also one thing. I'll get it out before you move on.
Yeah.
I feel like he would have a good parallel to Star-Lord in that they both have like daddy issues, and they could have a nice little moment where they're like, "Hey, dads," and they sort of look at each other,
Yeah. Or you
That's
can
fine.
change it altogether in that his father is Star-Lord's father.
Or that Sam Alexander is Star-Lord's father from the future, Vance Astro.
Oh, what?
Okay, your next
Yeah.
one. your next one.
Now she's already getting a whole film to herself.
Okay, I
I
can
think you've
almost
already-
definitely guess where you're going with this.
I'm thinking Wonder Woman. No.
Okay, yeah.
I'm thinking Captain Marvel.
Okay,
Now, Captain Marvel, there's many different incarnations, but the one that they're going with is the Carol Danvers version.
yeah.
But there's several other versions that they could
Mhm.
also go with. But just a kind of a human, very similar story to Star-Lord. A human in whatever way gets
Mhm.
taken from Earth, spat out into space, gets kind of some sort of super ability, and then works alongside the Guardians of the Galaxy. And it could be a tie for the Guardians wanting to go back to Earth, because so far Peter Quill has no real reason to go back to Earth. He's got like all these cool friends. He's got a cool spaceship. Why would
Yeah.
he want to go back to Earth? Like
Yeah.
he's sleeping.
He's
with,
having
like,
a whale of a time.
yeah. He's sleeping with all these different coloured aliens. He's that Skittles advert, Taste the Rainbow.
Wow.
He's taken that literally.
Wow. Because I'm sure he saw that advert before he.
Before he went off, he
Yeah.
was like, "Oh, well, that's all I've ever wanted." But
Right.
yeah. So
Great.
I think if you had a Captain Marvel who's like, "Oh my God, why am I in space?" and they find her or whatever, and then,
How did this possibly happen?
yeah,
She's probably in the same building that Vance Astro was in.
Yeah,
Just
just
went through the
weird
wrong
building.
door as well.
like,
Bloody hell.
I was looking for
I
the
mean, I'm
bathroom
only in
too.
space, huh? Right.
Oh, this is so weird. And then how she wants to go back home, obviously, and so they're like, "Yeah, we'll take you back to Earth, and Peter Quill's a bit like, Earth? I'm from there, and they go
Terra.
back to Earth.
Terra? Is that what they call it?
Terra, I believe. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
they go back to Earth or Earth, and
Earth.
yeah, I always imagine aliens would pronounce it like that.
Earth.
Yeah, if they like, what is this Earth?
Not Eart.
Suppose.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. What do you think?
I think that's good. I can see it happening as well because I Marvel and Disney, they like money.
Yeah.
And I think they're gonna start having. Well, I think they've already done it in a way, to an extent, having the lesser known characters appear with the bigger characters or with the already established characters, so that when when the new films come out, the people will be like, oh, they were like they're having Black Panther in Civil War, so people will be when the Black Panther film comes out, they'll go, oh, I
I
just saw the
already know
Black
him.
Panther, I liked him,
Yeah.
and then yeah, so I can see it happening, and it'd be quite cool. She's also super powerful, again filling the old Angela role.
Yeah.
So yeah,
That kind of a strong character who
Yeah.
can, just do a
Who
bit
can-
extra. Like, oh, I'm just flying over here, smashing the
Yeah.
guys who are in the air.
yeah,
I do think, like shortlisting it, you're gonna have someone who can fly because they don't have anyone on their team that can fly. I mean, Peter Quill kind of can with his
Yeah.
rocket suits.
I think he flies well in space. I feel like,
Yeah.
but then, like when he's right at the start of the film when he's first in the ruins on
Yeah.
whatever that planet's called,
Yeah.
Morag.
Something like that. Yeah.
Anyway, and he sort of goes and hovers over the gap.
Yeah.
So that was kind of that showed you he was a bit dodgy.
Mm.
But then, so yeah, a flying character would be good.
Cool. Have you got any? You got.
Speaking of which, a non-flying character.
Oh.
Um, my third idea, this is my personal favourite one as well, is Flash Thompson. Now,
Who on earth? What? The
Right.
Flash?
the Flash,
What? That's
Thompson.
DC.
right? Flash Thompson. You may remember him as the kid that bullied Peter Parker in the first, obviously with now Sony and Marvel being
Yeah.
best
United.
buddies. This is possible. He's actually in the first Spider-Man film, played by Joe Manganiello.
Oh.
Yeah, he's like the bully.
Okay. Yeah.
But anyway, so the idea is he like goes away, and when he when he comes back, he becomes a soldier, and he becomes like a good guy, and he's fighting in the Iraq War. He only loses both of his legs.
Oh, that sucks.
I know.
hate that. I hate when it happens.
Yeah, it's just the worst. But he then bonds with the Venom symbiote,
Okay.
and he becomes Flash Thompson, aka Agent Venom. So he is like Venom.
Whoa. Wait. How do we? How do we get into space?
Well, there's been a recent run in the comics where he has actually been one of the Guardians
Yeah.
because he, after the Guardians come to Earth and have like a whale of a time, as like a thanks for that, he goes off with them as
Oh,
like
okay.
a little treat for them.
That'd be pretty cool. It'd be tying
Yeah.
Spider-Man deeper into this
Yeah.
universe.
And there's also he has like an internal thing of he has to wear the Venom suit to have his legs to be able to walk, to be able to like run around. But if he wears it for too long, it like starts to take over his personality, and he becomes like evil and stuff. So it's like an
that's actually an
interesting
awesome character.
dichotomy.
I want him to have his own film,
Right.
Let alone
Yeah.
just that is awesome.
Right.
That's like
That's-
Avatar meets.
Something else not that good.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Avatar meets Avatar, like.
And so he's also, picture this, he's Venom, so he's already the black with the white spider on him.
Yeah.
He also carries like huge guns.
Of course.
So it's like the Punisher with Venom's
Yeah, the
abilities.
Punisher meets Avatar.
Sure. So anyway, top that. Give me what have you saved till last?
You're already laughing.
I am.
What my favourite one is? Squirrel Girl. No,
Okay.
it's Iron Man.
Okay.
Hold up.
Okay.
Calm down.
I was about to. Right, go on.
In the comics, he does join the Guardians,
He does, briefly.
and he makes a new suit to be able to, to live out in space,
Also true.
which I believe he calls the God Killer, which is just an
Sure.
awesome name.
Even though, probably not 100% accurate.
He can take on a god. But anyway,
Sure.
so he's made this suit and he's out in space. He meets up with them. Possibly at the end of Civil War, he's like, well, like he loses out and he's like, well, screw you guys, I'm going to space, and then
If
just like up
Pepper-
and away.
if Pepper just dies,
Yeah, and
then he's
Pepper's
like, well,
dead, and then
it's not
he
like I have a
loses Civil War.
giant business to run.
Well, you wouldn't care.
Space.
Yeah, just space. The only solution, yeah.
Yeah.
And he meets up with the Guardians, and they're like, "Who the hell are you?" And he's like, "Well, I'm Iron Man." Blah 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 blah
Yeah.
blah. And the main reason I want this is because I want the scene to happen
Mhm.
where he sleeps with
Wait, hold on.
Gamora. Where
But
he
Tony
sleeps with
Stark
Gamora.
is in like a committed relationship.
Yeah, but say Pepper Potts like doesn't care or whatever.
Right.
He
And
sleeps
he's out for a space rebound.
With, yeah.
Right.
He's out for a space rebound. He sees Gamora. He's like, I want a bit of that. Sleeps with her, and then in the morning he's like, so that's why they did that on Star Trek. I've always wanted to do this. I think that'll be pretty funny. Just a whole film.
That's
for
a
that
that's a
one
lot
joke.
of setup for a not very funny joke. I would rather just have him and Rocket Raccoon making fun of Drax together.
That would also be quality.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Drax just not being in on the joke.
Every time.
Yeah.
And then they constantly just
Yeah.
add on a new layer to it.
Yeah.
I think just Iron Man with that team, I
Yeah.
think will be absolutely hilarious. He's as smart and understands a lot of the technology they're using anyway.
Yeah.
He won't be so much of a fish out of water, and again, another tie between Earth and Guardians of the Galaxy, a reason for them to eventually to return. That it could just be, yes, Pepper Potts dies and he loses out on the Civil War. All of his friends hate him, and he's like, "Oh, I'm just leaving. No one likes me on this planet." And he's all emo, and he's like, "I'm going.
I'm going looking for Bruce.
And then he's up and away.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool.
I think you're not seeing this.
No, I am. And also, do you remember that thing we said about Disney and money?
Yeah,
Yeah. Guardians
Just
was
put
a
Iron
huge
Man.
hit. Stick Iron Man in it.
you got $1 billion
Yeah.
film there.
They're just forcing money into
Yeah.
their bank account. You can't help it. I'd see it.
How many people? Everyone would see that. Oh,
Yeah.
Iron Man with Guardians. I loved both of those films.
Yeah.
Great.
Anyway, have you guys got any better suggestions? Probably.
If you do, share them in the comments below. We can have a little chit chat, discuss them.
Any good ones? We might end up making a sequel to this when there's some more Guardians news.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks for listening.
listening.
Bye.
Bye.